तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Welcome all of you all for our weekly Gita class. So I think last week we had done till uh, text number 29 of the first chapter. Yeah, yeah. So basically we saw how verse number 26, 27, 28 and 29 uh, we saw till these verses where Arjuna is telling Krishna the first reason why he doesn't want to fight, and that is because of compassion. Because Arjuna is a genuine devotee of the Lord, he's feeling great compassion even for his enemies, and therefore he tells Krishna, I don't want to fight. And we saw in these set of verses 26, 27, 28, and 29, Arjuna is showing symptoms of compassion. Uh, these are symptoms of ecstasy. So we were discussing this just to recap. Yeah. So Prabhupada explains that the symptoms that Arjuna is showing here, his body is trembling, his hair is standing on end, the Gandiva is slipping, the skin is burning. So Prabhupada explains that these symptoms come due to two reasons. One is due to spiritual ecstasy and because of great fear. So in this section where Arjuna is giving the first reason why he doesn't want to fight because of compassion, Prabhupada explains two different angles. So one angle Prabhupada explains is these are symptoms of a great soul, one who has great compassion. But on the other end, Arjuna is also showing us when someone is too attached to things in life, these are the symptoms that they show. When someone is very fearful, really nervous, then these symptoms come. Trembling of the body, the hair standing on end. So why is Arjuna fearful? Because Arjuna is fearful due to the bodily concept of life. And we also discussed this in text 30. Prabhupada explains that the cause of fear, Bhayam Dvitiya Abhiniveshat Syat. So Prabhupada explains that uh, fear comes. Can you all keep yourself muted, please? Yeah. So fear comes when we are attached to a second reality. When we think that we are someone else, then there is fear. Just like in a dream, a tiger may be chasing someone, and that person becomes very fearful. Why does he become fearful? Actually, in one sense, the tiger is not a reality, but because he's thinking that the dream is real, the second dream like world that he's seeing, because he's thinking it's real, that is why he's becoming fearful. So fear comes on the bodily level. On the spiritual level, there is no fear because there is nothing to be lost on the spiritual level. That's why we saw that Krishna tells in the Gita, we will be seeing it comes in the second chapter, that the soul cannot be killed, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be dried. Therefore, on the level of the spiritual platform, there is no fear. But on the bodily level, there is fear. So that's what Srila Prabhupada explains on this purport. So we will go to verse number 30. न च श्रेयो अनुपश्यामि, sorry, न च शक्नोमि अवस्थातुं ब्रह्मतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव. I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. So Arjuna is so confused. He's lost his balance. He's so nervous that he's telling the Lord that, my dear Lord, my mind is reeling. I cannot stand here any longer. I just want to run away from this battlefield. And I can see only causes of my misfortune. Even though Krishna is the husband of Lakshmi, husband of the goddess of fortune, but Arjuna is feeling that even though Krishna, you are there with me, I can only see causes of misfortune. So these are further symptoms, and Arjuna sees only causes of misfortune. So Prabhupada explains in the purport here that these are further symptoms that Arjuna is showing here: unable to stand, forgetting himself, the mind is reeling. So by Krishna's will, Arjuna is showing all these symptoms. Hmm. So even though on one level it appears that Arjuna is like a mundane person getting depressed, he just can't handle the situation. But a pure devotee like Arjuna cannot get into a mundane feeling, emotion like depression. All this is happening because of Krishna's will. Because Krishna wanted that Arjuna gets into confusion and he asks questions, and Krishna gets the opportunity to speak Bhagavad Gita for all of us. So these are the symptoms that Arjuna is showing: forgetting himself because of weakness of mind, and due to excess
Business.
material attachments, there is fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium. Hmm. So because Arjuna is still excessively attached to his relatives, his so-called relatives. Therefore, there is great fear because for this particular war that Arjuna is facing, even though Arjuna previously has faced a lot of wars, he's fought with the most powerful demons, he's fought with Lord Shiva, Lord Indra, you know. But this particular war is different because the enemies that Arjuna is facing are his own relatives. So, in one sense, there is this clash that's going on in Arjuna's mind. He has to, on one end, he has to fight with his enemies, kill them. But on the other end, these enemies are his relatives, whom he has been, whom he has lived with for many years together, and there is attachment also. So, because these two opposites have come together in this particular unique war, Arjuna is losing his balance. Therefore, Arjuna is telling Krishna, Nimittani Vipritani. Oh Krishna, I can see only causes of my misfortune. I can see everything opposite happening here. So even though Krishna cannot do anything wrong in anyone's life, and what to speak of a devotee's life, and a devotee like Arjuna, whatever Krishna does is for Arjuna's welfare only. But Arjuna is feeling that, oh Krishna, even though you are there, I can see only causes of my misfortune. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that every living entity has interest, self interest. The real self interest is when we understand that my purpose in life is to serve Krishna or Vishnu. As long as we are interested in our own welfare, till then we will suffer. When we will be happy, when we are interested in Krishna's welfare. So think about this. Arjuna is starting the Gita thinking from his mindset, from his viewpoint, how it will benefit me, whether I will be happy. And the result is he is suffering at this point. But when he hears Gita, his mind frame changes. He understands that I will fight now because it is Krishna's interest. And then he becomes happy. So the root cause of frustration is when we try to satisfy ourselves independent of God, we will be frustrated. But when we think about the satisfaction of the Lord, then we will never be frustrated in our attempts. Even apparently there is a failure, we will be peaceful. Like in the Ramayana, uh, when Jatayu was trying to save Mother Sita when Ravan was kidnapping her, Jatayu on one level he actually lost the war. Ravan killed Jatayu, but because Jatayu was working for the welfare of Krishna, even that failure was a success. Mm. Because ultimately Krishna is pleased, Lord Ram was pleased with that endeavor. So, in the path of spirituality, if our purpose is to please Krishna, success or failure really doesn't matter. The point that we have endeavored to please the Lord itself is success. We will see in the second chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna that you fight for the sake of fighting. Don't worry about the result. Just the point that you have endeavored for my pleasure, that itself is success. So one's real interest, self-interest, Prabhupada explains here, one's real self-interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pain. So one's real self-interest, if we really want to do benefit to ourselves, we have to please Krishna or Vishnu. When we forget this, we will actually suffer a lot of pains. So Arjuna is calling Krishna as Keshava because Keshava means one who killed the demon Keshi. So in this way, Arjuna is telling Krishna, "Oh my dear Krishna, there are these demons of doubts and confusions that have come in my mind. So please remove these demons." We'll go to text 31. न च श्रेयो अनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे न कांक्षे विजयं कृष्णं न च राजं सुखानि च. So we saw till text 30, 27 till 30, Arjuna speaks the first reason why he doesn't want to fight because of compassion. 31 onwards, 31 to 35, Arjuna speaks the second reason why he doesn't want to fight, and that is because of enjoyment. We will see what it is. So I'll read the translation. I do not see how good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So Arjuna is telling Krishna, my dear Krishna, I cannot see any good that will come from in killing my own relatives in this war. And my dear Lord, nurture rajam sukhanicha. I don't have any desire for kingdom also or for pleasure also. Just leave me. I just want to go to the forest. So in this verse, Arjuna is telling the Lord that I cannot enjoy the kingdom even at the cost of killing my relatives. So Prabhupada explains that, in life, whatever we do it to show it to others. The show off mentality is there, isn't it? Like if you if you buy a very costly watch, where is that enjoyment in that watch? You may wear that watch, but until someone else sees it and tells you what a wonderful watch and appreciates you, you will not find enjoyment, isn't it? Even if you have the best of things, but if you don't have anyone to show it to, what is the point? Similarly, Arjuna is feeling that even if I win the kingdom and all my relatives are dead, what is the point in winning the kingdom? Whom will I enjoy with? Just imagine you are the only person in this entire world. You are the king of the entire world. Everything belongs to you, but you are alone. Not even a butterfly is there. You are the only one in this world. Will you be happy? We will never be happy because we need people so that we can enjoy what we have. So Arjuna's logic is if all my relatives are dead and if I win the kingdom, what is the point in the entire thing? How will I enjoy the kingdom? So this is the second reason that Arjuna gives why he doesn't want to fight, and that is, my dear Lord, I cannot enjoy. This is the second reason. So this is also a material mindset that Arjuna is showing here. My enjoyment. in this world, we think so much about our own enjoyment, isn't it? Whatever we do in life, right from the start till the end, right from childhood till old age, we are always thinking about my enjoyment. How will I be happy? What is in it for me? And that is the reason we are all suffering in this world, thinking about my enjoyment. Just like we saw, Prabhupada explains that we can really be happy when we stop thinking about our enjoyment and start thinking about Krishna's enjoyment. So the search for our happiness actually stops us from experiencing happiness. As long as we are thinking about our enjoyment selfishly, we cannot be happy. Because happiness means doing something selflessly for the pleasure of God. And that's what Arjuna is going to understand very soon. So Prabhupada explains in the purport here that a Kshatriya who dies on the battlefield enters into the sun planet, or gets an heavenly residence. This is the moral code of a Kshatriya. So for a Kshatriya, whichever side if he dies, uh, he attains the heaven. Especially a Kshatriya who dies on the battlefield under Krishna's order. And someone who's in the renounced order of life, completely devoted to spiritual practice, he also enters the sun globe, or he gets heavenly kingdom. So these are the moral codes for a Kshatriya. But Arjuna has forgotten all these codes. And Arjuna is telling Krishna, I want to run away. A Kshatriya never runs away from war. But Arjuna is forgetting all these codes and he's saying, I just want to run away. So Prabhupada explains, just like a person who is not hungry, he doesn't cook. Similarly, so what is your impetus to cook? Hunger. If there is no hunger, why will you take the trouble of going and cooking? So similarly, Arjuna is telling the Lord that I have no desire to enjoy the kingdom. If I don't want to enjoy the kingdom, why should I fight? Why take the trouble of all this fighting? So therefore, he tells the Lord, I have decided to go to the forest and live a secluded life. I don't want to kill all these relatives, because even if I kill them, I will not experience happiness. So I'm not ready to fight. Oh Lord, please leave me. Let me go to the forest and live a peaceful life. So this is Arjuna's conception of spirituality. Arjuna's conception of spirituality is just run away from everything. Just run away and live a very peaceful life. But spirituality is not about peace. There is a higher understanding of spirituality, and that Arjuna is going to understand that even if you take stress, but for the pleasure of Krishna, that state is much higher than the state of peace. So devotees are not looking for peace. Devotees are looking for Krishna satisfaction. And for Krishna satisfaction, you may have to sacrifice your own peace. Isn't it? Isn't that love? Like parents, mother, father, especially the mother, they take so much trouble to take care of the children, isn't it? Many times they give up their peace also. In the middle of the night, what to speak of peace, they don't even get a peaceful sleep in the night, because in the middle of the night the baby cries and does so many things, but the mother is happy. Even though she is not peaceful, there is a lot of things happening in her life, but then she is experiencing something higher than peace, and that is love. So higher than the platform of peace is the platform of love, where for the object of your love, you are ready to sacrifice your own personal comfort. So Arjuna, going to the forest for Arjuna is actually his personal agenda. He is going for himself personal peace. But when he understands Gita, he tells Krishna, Krishna, I am ready to stay here and undergo the stress of this war. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear.
Yeah. So for a devotee, higher than the platform of peace is the platform of love. That is why the Bhagavatam explains that this is Prahlad Maharaj's prayers to Narsingadev, that Prahlad Maharaj is praying that, my dear Lord, great devotees, they don't want to go to the Himalayas and live peacefully there and think about their liberation. Rather, devotees are happy to stay in the city amongst people and even sacrifice their personal peace because they want to connect others to the Supreme Lord. So that means giving up your personal comfort for the satisfaction of the Lord is a much higher platform. But at this point, Arjuna is still not on that platform. So therefore, Arjuna is feeling that, oh Lord, if I kill all my relatives, how will I be able to enjoy? Therefore, my dear Lord, I do not want to fight. Yeah. So here the word comes conditioned soul. Many times here you can see the first sentence of the purport. Without knowing that one's self-interest is in Vishnu, conditioned souls are attracted by bodily relationships, hoping to be happy in such situations. So many times this word comes conditioned soul. Conditioned soul means souls who are conditioned and bound in this world. So what is the meaning of conditioned soul? We will understand. So Krishna tells in the Gita 15th chapter, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasastani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. So Krishna says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That the living entities, all of us, we are actually part and parcel of God. Mamai Vamsho, we are all Amsha of God and we are all eternal. But because of coming in this material world, we are conditioned by the mind and senses. Manasastani Indriyani Prakriti-stani Karshati. Due to being conditioned in this material world, they are all struggling very hard with that six senses, which include the mind. So even though we are actually we are supposed to be liberated and be in the spiritual world along with God, but we have forgotten Krishna and come to the material world to enjoy separately from God. But are we actually enjoying? We are not enjoying. We are just struggling very hard in this world. So individual soul, Jivatma, is often described as conditioned. What does it mean? It means that few things. The first point is, that means we are all under the jurisdiction of the laws of material nature. So conditioned life means we are bound by certain rules and regulations. Sorry, you all can hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, now we can hear.
It dropped out.
Yes.
It says that internet is an issue, data over, something like that. Anyway, hopefully it shouldn't happen again. Okay. Okay, so I was explaining what is the meaning of a conditioned soul. So conditioned soul, the first thing it means that we are all under the jurisdiction of laws of material nature. So there are certain rules.
Can't hear Prabhuji.
Hari bol. हाँ. Sorry, I don't. It's happening again and again. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji is facing internet issues, so we'll end here. Yeah.
Okay, so we should leave.
Yeah. Sorry, Mataji. Just he's trying to join back in, but he's not able to join.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Next
Sorry for the sudden end to the class. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.